All right, in this video we are going to be taking a look at importing some artwork that we created in Inkscape and turn it into a 3D model, which in this case is going to be one of those ever popular can opener keychain thingamajiggies. So it's a really straightforward project. So let's go ahead, open her up here in Bambu Studio. So we're going to hit Control I. Now, of course, we're using Bambu Studio, but you could use any slicer pretty much in the same process as what I'm about to show you here. So there is our artwork, and let's go ahead and get to work here. So this is roughly 2 3/4 inches. And what we're going to do here is just start with our objects, and I like to name all of my objects. So in this case, we can call this backplate, and it is going to be color number 4. And then these are going to be our rings, which is color 5. And then we have, what is that? Not sure. We're going to come back to that. Not sure what that is either. We'll come back to that. We know what that is. That is do. And let's go ahead and add another filament color because we need red. So there we go. So that is going to be red, which is color number 6. And then this is going to be mountain. And that is going to be, let's do a darker green here. And so that is going to be color number 3. So going back to, let's make this white. Color number 2 is going to be white. So going back to those other parts, I'm not really sure which is which here. I think one of these is supposed to be green, which is this one. So let's make that green. And then this one is going to be white. So this is our white backplate. And then this piece here is our green backplate, we'll just call it. So we can kind of differentiate between all of these bits and bobs here. Okay, now everything is currently on one plane. So if we go ahead and just slice the plate for funsies, you're going to see it slices just fine. It looks exactly like we expect it to look, but obviously we're not going to have it print like this. So we'll go ahead and change it up. So what we're going to do now is set each one of these pieces to the finished height. So the backplate is going to be, make sure uniform scale is unchecked, is going to be 8. Can openers, we do 8. And then our rings, those will do 0.5. So to set those properly, we go to our move tool and we reset the Z to 8.25 because the rings are going to be, so here's our rings. Let me make sure our back plate is sitting on the build plate, which it's currently not. So you see here it's sitting at 5 and we need that to be at 4. And the reason we need it to be at 4 to sit on the build plate is because that piece is 8. Half of 8 is 4, so then the Z height has to be 4 if it's sitting on the build plate. So the rings are 0.5 of a millimeter. So if we go to scale, you'll see they're 0.5. And so half of 0.5 is 0.25. And that's why the Z has to be 8.25 because it needs to be 8 for the back plate and then 0.25 for that thickness of the rings. So the green is also at 8.25 because it is also only a half a millimeter. So let's go over here. Should only be half. There's half a millimeter. On our rings, yes. Our green backplate, yes. That's at 8.25. Our white backplate, now it's sitting on top of 8, but our white backplate, let's make it 1 just for fun. Okay, so we'll make that 1. So then it needs to be at 8.5 to sit where we need it to sit. Okay, so you can see there's just a little bit of extra dimension there. Now Mountain Dew, we'll go ahead and select them both, control click on them. And we could go ahead and assign those to be 1 millimeter thick, which that's great. But now we're sitting on top of 8 and 2 is 10. So this should be 11 in the Z in theory. 11 in the Z. Now, I wanted to show you something deliberately because sometimes when we're doing our math, you can see here, we got off. Okay, now I did this deliberately just to show you another option that you have available to you. You don't have to really remember all of how to calculate things and sit on top and on top and on top and on top. That's the main takeaway here. So well, let me show you what we can do here. Let's take all of our colored pieces and just go to the move tool here and let's set them all at 100 in the Z. Now, just a wild example here, okay? So you can see they're all way up top there. So what we could do if we don't want to really understand how the slicer works and make all these wild calculations, we don't need to. We can go ahead and select this backplate. Go ahead and choose your assembly tool, and we're going to choose the face-to-face assembly. So we select that, and then what up here do we want on that face? Well, for example, we want our white backplate. So you see it says 90.25. We'll just hit 0. And now look at. Now we know that that white is sitting directly on top of our black. That's the purpose of that tool. So just kind of carrying on from that, if we go back to the assembly tool, now our white plate is going to be the new place where we want to put stuff. And what do we want to put there? Well, we want to put the dew there. And just zero that out. Okay, and now the red is sitting directly on top of the white, which is perfect. Okay, and now we can reset, and we'll select the white again, and this time we're going to select the green. And zero it out. Okay, and now the green and the yellow actually sit, we'll reset those, on top of our black. So we can come up here, 0, same thing, reset. We're going to come in here, we want our black, and we want our green, 0. Okay? So that assembly tool is immensely useful for us, and then we really don't have to make all of our calculations. Now we know everything is sitting right on top of one another exactly like it's supposed to. So that's good. So if we slice this plate, you're going to see that it says that we need, has floating cantilevers. Okay. Now I don't know where it thinks we have floating cantilevers. That's not a good sign. And it says we have something that goes off the boundary. Well, I know what that is. That is our purge tower, almost certainly. Indeed. So that's the purge tower. Now, where these floating cantilevers are, I'm pretty sure we don't actually have floating cantilevers because we use the assembly tool. So we literally can't. So we'll just ignore that for the time being. All right. So now all we have to do is put in our slot for our can opener. So I actually have a little file that I made to simplify this process. So let's go ahead and hit Control I. We'll just go to our desktop here and we'll look for can opener. And where is it? Boolean. Our can over Boolean. We're going to import the geometry only. And there it is. So let's use our move tool here. So there it is. And then I think we're going to put it on this end. So we're going to rotate this around. And this, if we right click and center, okay, and then we right click and center this, then they'll both be centered. And then we could just use our move tool here and slide this out. And what we're looking for is to slide this out to the point where it's roughly dead flat like that. See how that is almost right to the edge, but it's not quite. And then we'll grab our scale tool and just pop it out a little bit like so on this end. Just a little bit, not too much, okay? Now this is not merged with this, so we need it to be merged, so we'll hit Shift and then Shift Control the assembly, right click and merge. And now this we can move if we alt click on it in the Z. So you can see it's at 1.75. So we want to move it up a total of 1.5. So 1 would be 2.75, right? And then a half would be 3.25. Now there's nothing magical about that per se. That is just what I decide that bottom lip should be at. Either 1 or 1.5. I usually do it at 1.5. Seems to work real well for me. Let's go ahead and, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and make it, I think I am going to print this one. So let's just back it off. Let's just back it off to 275, okay? So what that does is it gives it just a thinner piece to go underneath our soda tab, okay? So now let's go ahead and do our Boolean cut. So we're going to do subtraction, push everything over here, everything over, and we're going to scroll down here. We're going to uncheck this, but we do need the can opener over here to the right. That's the only piece that should be over here to the right. Only piece that should be green. Execute, and now you can see we have a beautiful hole where we can slide this under our soda tab. Okay. Now all we have to do is add our little keychain ring, and I think what I'm going to do is add it right there. Right there. So let's go ahead and hit Control I, and I just created a little SVG file, nothing fancy. We called it key tag. So anytime I need to add a key ring, you just bop, 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 and you're done. So we'll go to the scale here. I like mine to be 4 millimeters because I'm using a 10 millimeter jump ring, and I just feel like that works real well for me. So 4. All this is a 8 millimeter circle and a 3 millimeter circle. That's all we're talking about here, folks. Nothing fancy. But we're going to push that in. And on the key tags, we only want that to stick out enough to slide our jump ring in. Okay, that's it. We only need it big enough to slide our jump ring. Okay, so I'm happy with that. We don't need it sticking way out and just to be able to break it off. So I am happy with that. But in order to print this key tag, Shift Control, the assembly, has to be merged into the assembly. Okay? And there you go. Now we have a brand new Mountain Dew can opener. Fancy, huh? All right. So now let's talk about a couple of things in regards to printing I want you to know about. Now, I have a profile that I created and saved. You can see here. Let's see here. There it is, the can opener profile. Okay, now this has some special settings. I want to go through what some of those special settings are. First of all, we have enabled supports. Step 1. And then we come down here a little bit and we notice that the supports are on the build plate only. That's another step in the right direction. And then down here a little ways under advanced, the top Z distance has been changed to 0.28. And moving down a little bit further there, the top interface layers are at 4. Okay, so that will help remove the supports very, very easily. Now, let's go over to speed because there's some issues that we need to deal with there, and predominantly is the bridge. We just shut that bridge down to 20. Its default was 50, so we went ahead and dropped that down to 20. And we're good to go there. And you can see we also say slow down for overhangs because there's a roof right here that we have to slow down for. And that's going to be a big overhang. But if we slow the bridge down, then we don't have any issues right there. It's always printed just fine for me with these settings. So what's next? On the strength side of things, we'll come up here. For the while loops, we went ahead and upped it to 4 from the default of 2. So we went ahead and went that option. But that's really all, the only strength modifier that we really did was just increase the while loops. And then over here on quality, here's where we made some big changes. And the changes that you make, I'm going to explain, don't really add very much time, but the quality difference is kind of shocking, actually. You'll just have to look at it yourself, and you'll see that the quality, especially the top surfaces, to me, the quality is like really night and day. So what we do for line width, you notice by default, these all have different values in what's shown here, but I did 0.25, 0.25, 0.25, 0.25, 0.25, all the way down the list, okay? Even though we are using a 0.4 nozzle, 0.25 all the way down the list, and you're going to see a remarkable difference in quality. Trying to think what else I did. Top surface, I did also put 0.25. Yeah, I basically did 0.25 all the way down until we got into the sparse infill, and I left all that the same. Yeah, I think we're good to go on the rest of it. We're not using ironing. We could choose Arachne wall generator, although I don't think it really matters for this particular example. But anyhow, if we go ahead and hit save, you can see here, it's about 1 hour and 20 minutes. There are a little bit of supports right here just to help us with that front edge of our slot. But other than that, that is all she wrote there. And that, I promise you, will print out very, very nice. We could turn off our seams just so we can get rid of those little white dots there. And you can see that is going to print out really great. Oh, I might go ahead and actually print this one out just for fun, just to see what that quality is. So you see, it's really not that bad at all turning your artwork into a 3D model here inside Bambu Studio, as long as we know what we're doing and how we're doing it. So I hope you enjoyed that one. And until next time, thanks for watching. And by the way, if you want this file, just send us an email. Well, here's what we do. We ask you to leave us a comment on our YouTube channel, because all the comments and engagement helps push our videos out to other people. And then drop us an email and say, hey, I left you a comment. Could you send me this file? And I'd be happy to send it to you at no charge. All right. So again, until next time, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or need one-on-one training or some custom files made for you, this is my contact information, so feel free to reach out via email. You can text me. You could even give me a call. I'd be happy to answer questions or give you more details on the one-on-one training we offer, and as well as if you need custom files made until you are up to speed on how to make them yourself, feel free to reach out and we'd be happy to help you with that as well.